Welcome back. The name of this episode is How to Break the Cycle Without Shame. This is part two of the wounded mother raising children while she was wounded. So you start to see it now. You start to see the patterns. You start to see the exhaustion. You start to see the emotional distance you did not mean to create. And maybe a part of you is asking, did I mess my children up? Is it too late for me? Am I the problem? Let me say this clearly, and I want you to hear this. You cannot heal what you judge. Let's talk more about this. This isn't about being positive. It's about how the body and mind actually works. What does judgment do inside of you? When your system, or when you judge, your system hears things like, this part of me is bad, this shouldn't have existed, I need to get rid of this. Your nervous system responds like it is under a threat or like it's under attack. So when that happens, it doesn't open up, it protects. And so let me share with you what protection looks like. It looks like avoidance, numbness, overthinking, defensiveness, and shame begins to spiral. So instead of moving towards the wound, you move away from it. Why does this stop healing? Because healing requires contact. You have to be able to feel it, see it, and sit with it. And shame will keep the cycle going. So before we go any further, I would like for you to take a deep breath. You are not here to be blamed. You are here to understand, because healing doesn't begin with punishment. Healing begins with awareness. Let me say that again. Healing begins with awareness, not punishment. So when people begin to feel shame, it sounds like this: I should have done better. I shouldn't have chosen them. I failed my children. I failed my children. But here is the truth. When you begin to feel a shame, it shuts your body down. When you begin to feel a shame, you contract, you avoid, and you disconnect. And when you disconnect yourself, when you're disconnected, guess what? You cannot change anything. You cannot heal from a place you refuse to feel. You cannot heal from a place you refuse to heal. So if you have been stuck, it is not because you did not care. It is because shame has been blocking access to the very place that needs healing. So to begin to understand yourself differently, now we shift the lens. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Ask yourself this question: what happened to me? Because your patterns are not personality flaws, they are adaptation. You learned to overwork because no one supported you. You learned to chase love because no one stayed. You learned to disconnect because your emotions were never held. Those weren't mistakes, they were survival. And survival is intelligent. But now, what helped you survive may be limiting your ability to connect. So awareness without attack. The first step to breaking the cycle is this: notice your patterns without attacking yourself. When you feel the urge to overwork, the pull towards unavailable partners, the distance from your emotions, instead of saying, here I go again, say something like, I learned. That one shift changes everything, because now you are not the problem. You are the one observing patterns. Step 2, build safety before change. Most people try to change too fast. They say, I'm going to be different. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to do better. But the nervous system does not respond to force. It responds to safety. Nothing heals while it is being forced. So instead of trying to become a new person overnight, start here. Sit with your feelings for a few minutes. Notice when you feel overwhelmed. Allow yourself to pause instead of push. These are small things you can do, but they're very powerful, because safety comes before transformation. Step 3, relearning emotional connection. Now we come to something deeper. If emotional connection wasn't modeled for you, You have to learn it. Start simple with yourself. When you feel something, instead of pushing it away, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Not the story, the feeling. Is it sadness? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel loneliness? Do you feel fear? This is how connection begins, not by fixing, but by noticing. Listen to me. The relationship you build with yourself is the one your children will feel. Step 4, interpreting relationship patterns. Now let's talk about relationships, because this is where many cycles repeat. Before entering or returning to a relationship, pause and ask, does this feel familiar or safe? Because those are not the same. Familiar feels like intensity, uncertainty, emotional highs and lows. Safety feels like consistency, calm, respect. And here's the truth. Safety can feel unfamiliar at first. So if something feels different, don't run. Don't run from it. Get curious. So what to do when you feel guilty? Now let me tell you, guilt will come up, especially when you look at your children. You may think, I should have been more present. I should have done things differently. And this is where I want you to pause. You cannot go back and become who you weren't supported to be. But you can become someone new now. And your children, they don't need perfection. What your children need is more presence, more awareness, and more honesty. Even saying to them, I'm learning how to show up better, can begin to repair what feels broken. So breaking the cycle does not happen all at once. It happens in small moments. When you pause instead of react, when you feel instead of avoid, when you choose differently just once. The cycle doesn't break because you were perfect. It breaks because you become aware. And awareness is where the healing begins.